Okay, let's call the meeting to order. It's 7:03 on the clock on the wall. Jeff Hubbard and Scott Longton couldn't make it tonight, so we will press on regardless. So let's begin the agenda. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? Eric?
Nope.
Mike?
Just one. Just want to discuss how we're going to present the recommendation for the chief of police and deputy chief, how we're going to present those resolutions on February 28th.
We could handle that in a liaison report if you wanted to. It doesn't matter.
Just as a discussion item, that's all. Why don't we do
Okay,
that?
we're gonna add a discussion item. Per Mike's request, to discuss the letter of recommendation that will be going to the township board in the near future. Anyone else? Motion to accept the agenda as amended?
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, approval of minutes. I'd like a motion to approve the minutes of January 18, the regular police commission meeting, and February 10, the special meeting.
So moved.
Second? Second?
Aye.
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 So, who's gonna do the monthly report? And you can just hit the highlights if you'd like. I don't want you to sell yourself short, but we're trying to make it a short meeting.
Before we started, I kind of wanted to go over the application process for the clerk dispatcher, how it's moving along. The process is going to close this Friday at 5 o'clock. So as I put it out to one of your guys' emails, we've put out a lot of different social media events, our apps in different types of formats. So we've gotten 131 interests on Indeed. And then of those 131, we screened them out and 21 requested applications. And then we've had 4 returned so far, but just today we got a couple phone calls asking in line. So we're kind of hoping or expecting people to turn them in last minute. We're hoping. We're at 4 applications right now. This Friday at 5, turn them in to the police department or Township Hall. Yes, sir. And the second item I wanted to talk about was on the December 13th.
Hey, Doug, before we go there,
Sorry
what
about
steps then? So that closes, and then when does the interview process start, and how can move?
Application process we get, and then we're going to contact the commission. To do a few of us internally to do like we did last time, where we do small amount of interviews, depending on how many we have. If we have 4, we'll just do them as a group. If not, we can get down, pass on to you guys if you're happy with the way we did it last time, and then you guys from there, and we'll do independent rankings. So
Yep. Thanks.
I don't have dates set up for that yet. So okay. Questions on the applications?
No, sir.
I do not believe we have to go back to the board on that one. Was it already approved?
I do not have that with me, the agenda item. But
Take a look at it.
We'll take a look at it, check with Dick.
The next, go over the December 13th, the township board had made a recommendation to the committee. Yeah, let me go back up. November 16th, the commission had made a recommendation to approve or move forward to seek township board approval for the hiring of Luis Hurtado in the next township board meeting, the 15th. And then on December 13th, action item number 6. Just kind of reviewing all this. It's been a while, so. Mickey had made a motion to recommend the Groseville Police Commission by the Roseville Police, that the Roseville Township Board hereby approves the hire of a new patrolman contingent upon a funded vacancy within the ranks after determining the next Roseville Police. Mr. Budney has seconded the motion and carried unanimously. The reason I bring that up, I think at this stage, once we figure out on the 28th, I believe, from the commission, call Hurtado and get moving on this, or just,
It looks like if all the clouds align, that could be the course of action coming up, but I do believe I get through that meeting before we can make that call.
back to our attention, this is from a couple months.
I appreciate the update.
That's a great way to present it too, just showing that. A while ago.
We'd all like to get another, refill the ranks. So
Absolutely.
we're still down 2, so.
Decision's made on the 28th. If it goes the way we recommend, then you need to hire an officer, and that's the gentleman that we decided on.
Correct. All right, employed with the same employer, I talked to him several weeks ago. Nothing's changed in his status and on board with us. So, all right, moving on to the monthly report. I'll just try to take some recap. So just the month of February, typically in the department, are kind of slows down a little bit due to the weather. This is just a call volume. See that right there. So typically we're around the 900. There's 733 calls for the month of January. So this slowed down a little bit. Typically we're right around 900, high 800s, low 900s. This is the monthly stats, what the officers did for the month of January. Now, I said the call volume went down, but our monthly stats, they actually look like they went up a little bit for the month. A little bit more active on the verbal warnings and citations issued. And the reports written in the month before. And their mileage had gone up. So that's just a brief overview of for the month of January. I know I'm throwing this kind of quick. Are you guys on that? This, I mentioned this before, this are our current vehicles. We're doing on the vehicles and the mileage. You can see the odometer on the right side, or that's for the month, but the mileage overall, our fleet's in pretty good condition. We are getting 16.7 back from the dealership. That's the one I mentioned before. The engine is seized up on it, and the insurance is replacing 7,000 miles with now it's a 35,000 mile engine on it. It's not a new car, but it does buy a year and a half on that mileage for that vehicle. So, little cost savings.
The arrangement working out with Richardson's.
It's good because we used off island before, so even to do simple, we had to have a shuttle system for people. The DB would come in and help us out, or the administration would help. Now, once we drop off one car, one person can shuttle them back and forth to Richardson's, and he texts us and sends us text when vehicles are ready. And he's pretty quick, and his billing is comparable or even better on some things. So it's not it's a home business. So this is our overtime. So you can see that from the late December to early January, and then early to mid-January to January. Our overtime has gone down a little bit because we haven't had many COVID cases. We keep getting them. We had a period there where we didn't have any, and then we just had myself and 2 others, so they didn't create as much overtime. If you look for the totals for the year, 21 to 22, and then you have the January overtime, which is we were at 200 hours for this time in January of last year, and then this year we're at 193. So the start of the year. So we're still short on people, but we're moving along. And then Captain West program, I cannot come. He couldn't come today, so if I can, I'd like to just do the reserve report real quick and then move into the budget. So, January, they had 80 hours for the reserves. And for training, they had a PPCT training, which the whole department went through. And Todd Rose had the training report later, but that's one of the reserves are part of that. I know they've already scheduled them 3 or 4 events for this upcoming month and year. So, my last thing I wanted to update on the budget. we're coming near the end of the budget year. So I just highlighted a couple items there. For the salaries, we're at percent. We also had those buyouts, I believe, that came out of the salaries. And then, or are going to, for the retirements. And then for our budget, we're at 145%. That's also with the deer calling overtime, Island Fest overtime, and the COVID overtime, which hit us for about a third of our overtime budget. And if I can page, is there any questions on the first page?
That's our page while you go through.
There you go.
Thanks.
And this is the bottom. I got we're at 92% fiscal year, which ends March 31st. So we're getting to the end, over, but I think we're gonna be over. So, any questions on the budget? All right. And Mr. Brozak is up next.
While you're up there,
All right.
quick synopsis on deer call status and deer count, would that,
Todd's gonna do the deer call. We already have it as part of this thing. So, okay. All right. Any other questions for me? Oh, thank you.
Good evening. So I'm going to go over the detective report, Juvenile, the deer call, ACO report, and traffic report. I'm going to start out with the monthly training report. So for January of 22, Detective Darsniak did control tactics with the entire department, the road patrollers. Detective Darsniak and Vasquez went to an online TikTok and Snapchat forensics investigations. That was in January 7. There was an interdiction mastermind that officer attended. Gives police officers a clear understanding of what it means to be an effective criminal interdiction officer. There was a basic undercover techniques that Officer Carrico went to. That was actually Pennsylvania. Officer King, he was the last to be in Narcan, learn how to administer it and receive the certificate. And Officer Benson did SWAT, January 22, downward training at Aquinas High School in Southgate. Training was devoted to active shooter, active threat response. Patrol officers' response was covered, and all team members acted as instructors for clinics to be hosted around the area. They're going to go into different schools and teach some of the technical departments. And then lastly, canine maintenance training. That was Officer Carrico, 24 hours total. Training consisted of detection, tracking, building searches for humans, traffic stops, apprehension work, and the United States Police Canine Association obedience routine. Were there any questions on the training for the month of January? Okay. Next will be the DB report. There were 27 total complaints. 12 of them were assigned to the Bureau and cleared. 3 active, 7 were inactive. Some of the highlights, if you'd like to call them highlights, operating while intoxicated. Roseville PD stopped a vehicle for traveling southbound Meridian or Parkway against traffic in northbound lane. Investigation found the operator to be intoxicated. Operator was arrested for OWI and transported to the police station for processing. This was the operator's OWI offense and was charged with a felony. Detective Bureau completed a warrant and arraigned for the defendant. Detective Bureau completed a warrant recommendation and arraigned the defendant at 30 court. Second one was a larceny. Grosio PD took a larceny from a resident who allegedly had items stolen from her home, culprits are believed to be staff that she had hired. Items stolen were some wallets and purses. The case was turned over to investigation. Case number 158. Grosseille stopped a vehicle for speeding eastbound on Grosseille Parkway near Park Lane. Investigation found the operator to have a Grosseille warrant for a license and an additional 5 misdemeanors from several local law enforcement agencies. The operator was arrested, processed, and released with an additional LS and speeding citation. That one was closed out and turned over to the 3rd District Court. Questions regarding the complaint and arrest report from the DB?
Okay.
Juvenile report. Two cases on this one, 22-280 PS notification for child abuse, January 20th, Grosseille Police Department, Child Protective Services notification on alleged allegation of child abuse. CPS investigated and was founded. No disclosure after it was made with the family. Status was closed. The other one, juvenile truancy notification. On the 19th of January, the middle school counselor contacted the borough regarding several absences by a male student. Counselor made several attempts contacting the parents with no result. Review of the 2 older siblings' attendance at the Grosseille High School are similar. Detectives made contact with the family at the residence and discussed truancy. Conformed with the situation, Child Protective Services was notified. To this day, the students have been attending daily. That had a good outcome. So next will be the deer call. What were your questions regarding the deer call? Tell you that started February, goes through March 31st, 200 tags. I don't have an accurate number until next commission meeting, but they are on target for what they want to accomplish. And I think they're going to meet their goal.
Population.
Let me add a little color because I got the numbers from Pete just the other day. So, you know, if you recall last year, we did a count during the deer call, and a count for 100, and then there are additional deer called after. And this fall, there was another deer call. I think 75 were called. Okay, so we've never had a fall call before. So they finished a deer count on January 27th prior to beginning the winter call, and the count approximately 300. So they've made some headway. And they have 200 more, and I'm told by everybody that I spoke to that it's going well. So it should be seeing a real reduction. And a lot of it has to do with the fall call, which we haven't had before, and a successful call last year as well. So
Thank you.
Next is the AC report. As you can see, the month of January, she had 57 calls. She had 7 dogs that were either picked up or surrendered. Returned to owners, dogs 7. Cats adopted 3. Other dogs adopted 0. Dead animals picked up 4. Then, as you can see, shelter fees 25 total. Donations for the month of January were $1,547. Last, the traffic summary. these are easy since this is the first month in the year. Total crashes this of January, 10 total, 3 hit and run, 4 private, 1 personal injury, 0 involving intoxicant, 0 fatal, property damage 16, deer 2, and citations from accidents was 0. So with the deer culling and the reduced deer population, I'm very happy with those numbers with the accidents versus deer. Any questions on that? Okay. Okay, I am all set.
There's really not a lot to the liaison report. I think the only thing, the last board meeting that took place that had a lot, public safety was a large order of breathing apparatuses moved and all the gear that go with it, presented by the fire department, as real positive. That went through the board meeting without an issue. I think a total about 21 apparatuses, and the fire department was successful at getting a grant for about half of it, and the remaining half that they had to buy of the units, they got bulk pricing. So it was accomplished very efficiently, cost effectively, and to replace them, because I believe they expired, most of them, all of the current apparatuses they use expire at the end of this month. So it's very timely. So pretty much it, I think, for this group.
I have a motion to the monthly reports.
So moved.
Second.
All, aye.
Aye.
Okay. Item. You wanna?
I don't the only thing on there, I guess, yeah. So, I just want, we obviously, we held our interviews for, the next chief of police, as well as, and we decided to, not only recommend the next chief of police, we decided to recommend, the next deputy. And I had been doing a little bit of research on it and had a lot of discussion with some of the members of the police department, as well as former members. And the bottom line is, we haven't had a deputy chief for a while, so I felt a need to kind of provide some background to what the deputy chief does when we present the resolution. So it's my goal to present 2 resolutions, because they have real different now for each one, and to include some of the background for the chief. That's my goal. I'm still in the process of collectation. I've asked, Doug and Ken and, some other people that are knowledgeable, that have been around for a while, as to, what is the requirements for the deputy chief? What does that person, do on a daily basis? And I think, it's needed to present this thing to the board. I think we need to provide information. So I'm gonna provide them that information. And so I think, separate, history for each one and then a separate resolution. We'll see what happens. If you guys have any issues with that, I talked to Scott. I haven't had a chance to talk to Jeff about it, but I just think it's a smart way to do it.
Let's move on along that path then. And Derek sent out on some of the timing
Yeah.
to try and have that info, so I'll work with you on that.
I didn't see that. What was the timing?
I can't remember. But send your email and we can talk about it tomorrow or whatever.
All right. Really, yeah. I just, I thank the folks that are work assignment for their help, because I've learned a lot in the process. And, there's a lot of issues right now that I think the department has experienced. And, according to the folks that I've spoken to, a lot of those issues have to do with not having a deputy. And, a lot of things were not getting done. It was a lot of work, and I think important that we get a deputy chief, and I also believe it is important that we present the case for it. So,
Good plan. Any questions?
comments?
Okay. Well, we're down to my second item. Public comment. Yes, ma'am.
Kathy Walker. It's a thing called buy, sell, grow seal. I don't know if you guys, your wives do or you do it. It's a thing online. Somebody wants to sell something for $20 and they usually do it at the home. Well, I've done a little bit of this because Tim always said, don't ever sell anything. Don't have anybody come to the house. He's always like that. So anyways, I in Woodhaven, and they have a thing with the police, and this is really nice. There's a little sign, and they've got cameras at their police station, and it says parcels or purchasing or something, and they've got parking spots, and you pull up, and then you switch the money and the thing, and you go home. And I find if they want to on the internet, but it's nice not being at the house. And I was wondering, do you have any room at the police station to put a little sign in like 2 spots for people? There's a lot of people who would use it because I was talking to a couple of my girls. Yeah, my husband doesn't want, us on Easter and all this stuff. And it's just a really nice, safe. You feel good about it. You don't think that somebody's going to break into your house or anything. It's really nice. And Woodhaven is doing it. So I thought maybe if you guys could, would be nice. Is there any reason it would be?
Yeah, I think our police department front lot has been used for a lot of transactions for people buying and selling. It hasn't been official online.
Okay.
But we've done. I sold my motorcycle in the front lot of the police to go. So I know it's been used because it's a small town. We can definitely look into that.
Really, I was surprised. I bought this rug, and the lady said, I'm Haven, and you can use it anytime you want. She was so cute about it. And I said, well, Groseal's got stuff. If you could look into it, I'd really appreciate it. It's a nice, safe thing, especially because women do this a lot. And you want to be safe. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just so I understand, so straighten me out on this if I don't understand it correctly. So the idea, sell something, you want to put it on the internet or something, and so meet me at the police station to do it, and I'll feel safe for doing it. There is my home or Kroger's parking lot or whatever.
And Ken just reminded me also, a lot of custody parents they'll do it in the lobby and during the winter outside in the parking lot, 'cause the whole parking lot's already in. So I've personally sold things in the lobby and the police department. I want them to know where I live. So
Good idea, I
exchanging cash. I think it's been going on for years.
And we're receptive to that, right?
Yeah, we're warranted, no problems.
Okay, so
whatsoever.
we don't know with that, and if anybody asks, you know, if, yeah. Okay, so maybe somehow we have to, how we would promote that a little bit so people would know about it. I mean, is it word of mouth? Is it
Social media.
social media? Welcome to do this. I think that's great service. Doesn't really cost, and people feel a lot safer, so good. Thank you for that.
It's an amenity without costing you anything, basically, except the sign, and if you've already got it.
At any time, anybody can go to our lobby or a parking lot. They don't need to call ahead that without even calling
Talk
us.
and say, hey, I'm meeting this person. Let the
They don't
dispatcher
need
know.
a fire sir. That they just do. It's a public building, so it's
Okay, cool.
accessible.
Greg or Mr. Flavin, you have anything? And I'm not sure here, but we talked about trying to make this a short meeting.
Greg Ramsey. Now, just brief remarks. I was here at the commission's interviews last week, and I just want to again thank you for having an open meeting, public meeting, doing it the right way, having a very discussion. I think the fact that you have 5 experienced people and that have held management, but currently have management positions in business and understand hiring and leadership, choosing leadership, really inspires confidence, I think, in citizens that the decisions that you're making are based on facts, based on merit, and I hope that, said at the township board meeting last night, I hope that we can have a discussion at the board level because it's on facts, and takes out of the equation. I know inevitably there's always going to be some, but I think that most people in this community do want to see the most qualified individual, and you've got some substantial candidates here. All 3 candidates I thought were standing, and the choices and decisions you made reflect the fact that you had some tough choices. But in the end, my impression, and every one of you that watched those meetings felt that you based your decisions based on facts, on merit, and I hope that the township board will do the same. On the deer call, I just want to say that, of course, I've talked about this in the past. I think it's very encouraging to hear that the numbers are going down. I think it's validation of the fact that the cull program works, and you're doing this in conjunction with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources. This is based on science, on wildlife management techniques that are proven, and that in fact it is working. So it's encouraging to hear that you made the progress, more that can be made, and I think it sounds like you may get down to the number Michigan Department of Natural Resources have said is sustainable and appropriate for the island. So that's encouraging as well.
Science, if we get to the numbers and we get the response around the island with that fewer number of deer, but again, the DNR, they can use that as a test bed to see if they're good. But we've got a dedicated team on this for years. I think Joey's, and they're very dedicated and they're very good at it.
Just a minute too, I was encouraged to hear Commissioner Juraki talk about the deputy chief being important in the department. I agree with him. I agree that, and I think most people that I've talked to that have understood the department's operations over the years feel that it is a very important position. And I certainly encourage the Commission to put together your thoughts for the board on fully funding all staff positions for the 24 count that we've traditionally had department to provide the operation level that is necessary, the optimal response times for the police. And we know that tight budget considerations in the township, and the township board has to weigh all of the responsibilities of the township when they formulate a township board budget. But from the standpoint of safety, I just encourage you to do what you think is best, put forth, think is best. If the township board ultimately reduces recommendation that you provide, so be it. That's the process of give and take that happens, budgetary discussions at the board level. But from your, I just encourage you not to compromise on the level of capability that is in the best interest of public safety on the island. Thank you.
Anyone else have any comments? A motion?
Motion to adjourn.